And for this, we are... No. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for my monthly TBR game. If you're new here, hi, my name is Cece and I play Hokaduck to determine my TBR. Now, this month is going to be super critical that this TBR game is kind to me because all of the books that you see here and 8 more are already kind of on my TBR, so I have to get prompts that fit these, please. I don't really want to add much more. I also want to participate in the Novice Path Readathon by G, as I feel like most people in this community do. So I need to find books that potentially are on here already and work for the prompts, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing this month. If you're new to the game, I have ducks with different colors. They mean different genres. We have purple for historical fiction, green for an arc. I know it's not technically a genre, but that's just how I play it. Black for sci-fi and ethno-futurism. Red for contemporary. This also includes thrillers and such. Orange for fantasy. And then yellow is my most hated one because that's out of my comfort zone, which includes short stories, non-fiction, it includes horror and this kind of stuff. I pick a color and then I pick a card, which is a prompt, and then I have to fulfill this prompt in this genre. I have a couple of new cards. Thank you, Adriana. I has been sitting on my shelf the longest. Odd number of pages, that should be easy. Not so sure about it anymore, so something that I have on my TBR that I'm not sure I actually still want to read. Potentially could become a DNF. If I read a book, DNF it, and then haul it, I still consider that a success. A subscription box book, an even number of pages, lowest numbers of ratings on Goodreads, so I have to go on my Goodreads and look at the genre that is the lowest number on my TBR. A Friends 5-star. So, a bunch of new cards, and if you are also new here, what you should definitely check out is my punishments, because my punishments do not carry over into the game or something. My punishments are things that I have to do in real life. I still have to film my July punishments. I didn't complete 4 colors. My punishments go by colors, so for each color that I don't end up completing, I have to do a punishment in real life and vlog it. There's 2 videos already up, so if you haven't checked that out yet, definitely do that. I think that's one of my most scariest video to film, but also most fun, and I have a feeling a lot of watching that is potentially also their favorite video. We're going to be picking books until we have green twice, because I want to finish 2 arcs every single month to get my arcs down. At least 5 picks, but as soon as we hit 2 greens at 5 or more picks, we're gonna stop. So let's get started. Let's just start with one in the middle. Let's go. Green! What is it going to be? What is it going to be? Not so sure about it anymore. I can definitely do that. So, not so sure about it anymore is the arc for The Last Romantics. When I read the first chapter in the excerpt, I was completely like, yeah, that sounds cool. But now that I received it from the publisher, I'm like, it has the word romantic in the title. What was I thinking? Is this actually something that I'm going to enjoy? It felt like a family drama or something, and I love the cover. I really do love the cover. Oh, look at this. It's even pretty like naked. But I'm not sure about the book anymore at all. Let me pull up what it's about. So when the renowned poet Fiona Skinner is asked about the inspiration behind her iconic work, The Love Poem, she tells her audience a story about her family and a betrayal that reverberates through time. It begins in a big yellow house with a funeral, an iron poker, and a brief variation forever known as The Pause. A free and fair summer in a middle-class Connecticut town. Caught between the predictable life they once led and an uncertain future that stretches before them, the Skinner siblings emerge from the pause staunchly loyal and connected. 2 decades later, the siblings find themselves once again confronted with a family crisis that tests the strengths of these bonds and forces them to question the life choices they've made and what they are willing to do for love. It doesn't really sound like it, but I remember when I read the first 2 chapters from the excerpt, I was like, that is actually really interesting and well written and I'm enjoying it, but now I'm questioning if it's not like I don't have books here. Like, why did I request this? I don't know. All right. Pick number 2. We have purple historical fiction. We're taking this card. Subscription book box. So a subscription box book that is historical fiction. I had to go through my shelves a little bit longer. I found a few actually. I thought they were all fantasy, but I did find a few. I'm narrowing it down to these two. This one's like a Mulan retelling, and I do feel like I want some Asian setting on my TBR, but I'm also not feeling the Mulan story. And this one actually plays in Rome, and I'm like, why did I not know this when I did my Rome recommendations video? And I'm completely like, I'm actually feeling Rome a little bit, but then I usually don't like that type of setting at all, like Spartacus. So this is like a Spartacus retelling if Spartacus was a young woman. So I'm not sure which one to pick out of these. So I just asked some of my friends to help me make a decision. Right away, it's leaning a little bit more towards the Magnolia Sword over Blood and Sand, but then Blood and Sand is also a little bit thinner, and I have a feeling my TBR is gonna be ridiculous, so maybe I should lean towards Blood and Sand. I'm not sure if I can make a decision right now, if I'm either gonna leave it up the feedback there, what I'm feeling in the mood for when I'm setting up my TBR, or maybe if you watch this, let me know which one I should pick. I might be leaning more towards Blood and Sand. I'm not sure. All right, pick number 3. Another historical fiction on my list. Twitter picks for me. Okay. For Twitter picks, I have put up 4 different books. The first one is How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accent, and that is the book for the Spilling Tea book club, which I will most likely be reading, and it's a short one. Then House of Eden, which I'm thinking about reading. It's for the Curl Up book club, but it is a chunker. It's 600 pages, and I have so many books already on my TBR. If I don't get a lot of books in my TBR game that match books that are already on my TBR, I might not be able to get to that. Then I have The Year of the Witching, which is the solar-powered book club pick of September. I love the solar-powered book club because it makes me read more diverse fantasy and or more diverse books in general. And then the fourth one is Where the Crawdads Thing. I have been wanting to read it for the longest time, and one person in the traveling book project has received that and is considering sending it out to people. It's not necessarily on my TBR yet, but it wants to really hard to get there. So I'm going to let Twitter decide, and potentially the others will not get read this month. So by the time I'm editing, I probably already have the poll results, and I'm gonna put them here, and you see which book it is, and you're going to either be like, yay, it is How the Garcias Lost Their Accent, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna read it anyways because I love the Spilling Tea book club, or no, it's East of Eden, which I kind of want to read, but it's 600 pages, and I don't know how I'm gonna fit that in there. So, and the color is black, which is sci-fi or Afrofuturism. Ethnofuturism. Give me a good one. Has been sitting on my shelf the longest. So longest on my shelf was not only longest on my shelf, but also longest on my top shelf. I have been wanting to get to this several times. I think it was on my monthly TBR twice already as well, and I always didn't get to it because, again, a chunker, over 800 pages, yay, because I don't do small books this month, I guess. But I'm super stoked for this. I feel like I'm going to be loving this like a lot. So yeah, what is it about? I have no idea. What would happen if the world were ending? A catastrophic event renders the Earth a ticking time bomb. In a feverish race against the inevitable, nations around the globe band together to devise an ambitious plan to ensure the survival of humanity far beyond our atmosphere and outer space. And then obviously some complications are going to arise or whatever. And pick number 5 is Orange, which is fantasy. From your wish list. Oh no, because wish list is literally books that I don't own yet. Yes. So So from my wish list, I'm taking part in the fantasy series Book Club, Readalong, whatever you want to call it, hosted by some lovely people, and we're reading We Hunt the Flame this month, and I'm assuming we're heading to the second in the series next month. So far it's still on my wish list because I haven't even started We Hunt the Flame yet, so it absolutely qualifies as a fantasy book that is on my wish list. Let me know, do you prefer me saying I have no idea what it's about and just leaving it at that and just explaining why I picked it for the prompt, or do you want to have the summary read? Like, is that important to you to know? And if, especially when it's a series, do you want to hear what the first book is about? Let me know what your preferences are. And save it from the traffic jam. And that is another sci-fi ethnofuturism. And for this, has been sitting on my shelf the longest. So we have a longest on a shelf again, and for this one we have matched. I literally know that I've had this when I had so different bookshelves where I only had a few books, and this has moved a couple of times with me, which is kind of crazy that I have had it this long and still haven't read it. Yeah, I mean, I got this at the height of my dystopian setting, my selection kind of wanting to, I love that dystopian setting and this selecting people, matching them up kind of a setting. So I think that this is what it's about. Like, if you love selection, this might be, although selection is very much more like fairy tale-ish, I think. Cassia has always trusted the society's choices, and when her best friend appears on the matching screen, Cassia is certain he is the one, until she sees another face flash for an instant before the screen fades to black. Now she's faced with impossible choices between Xander and Kai, between the only life she's known and a path no one dares to follow, between perfection and passion. I have no idea if this is still for me, because I've had this for so long that it might not be for me anymore. It's like paranormal dystopian YA, completely feeding into the vibes from my perspective into this like utopian but not really utopian society of like, not really the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games is more brutal, but this is probably more like the vibes of Divergent and Selection crossed. So I'm not sure if I'm still gonna vibe with it, but I am finally gonna give it a try and know if I'm gonna want to finish the whole series or not. So pick number 7. And we have red for contemporary, and I believe now we have all colors. And for contemporary we are doing From My Top Shelf. Staring straight at my top shelf. Well, none of these were on my top shelf. So we have contemporary from my top shelf, and I've had quite a few picks. There's also like Anna K up there, Super Fake Love Song, I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter, Foul is Fair. So there's quite a few choices. But because my TBR is already getting so crazy, I picked the shortest ones, and I'm actually super hyped for both. I'm so hyped for both that I, again, cannot decide. I don't know what's going on with me this month, but like, this is supposed to be like with prompts so that I don't have to decide what I'm in the mood for. The Vegetarian has been talked about so much. A beautiful, unsettling novel in 3 acts about rebellion and taboo, violence and eroticism, and the twisting metamorphosis of a soul. I think that this could be a little bit disturbing and not completely up my alley, but I want to have read this to have my own opinion. And then I'm super hyped for The Humans. I loved Matt Haig's writing in The Midnight Library. I've heard really good things about the other books that he wrote, and this just feels comedic but also eye-opening and horizon expanding experience kind of deal. After an incident, one wet Friday night, where he is found walking naked through the streets of Cambridge, Professor Andrew Morton is not feeling quite himself. Food sickens him, clothes confuse him, even his loving wife and teenage son are repulsive to him. He feels lost among a crazy alien species and hates everyone on the planet. Everyone, that is, except Newton, and he's a dog. Who is he really, and what could make someone change their mind about the human race? So we have one that I'm not sure I'm going to be loving, but that is shorter and that I really want to have read so I can have my own opinion, and then one where I feel like this will be right up my alley. I don't know how to pick. Here we are again. I do not know how to pick. And it's down to 2. I'm gonna put this up on Instagram and see if this helps me. I might just have to roll a dice or something. I don't know. Let me know, which one should I read? I'm just gonna have to pause this and select both of them for now, and then just narrow it down over the next couple of days. And maybe you can help me with that. That's how we're gonna play this game this month, I guess. All right, pick number 8. And that is contemporary. And for this, we are... No! My beautiful cards! Adi, please don't kill me. No! Seems to be okay-ish. Okay, but I picked Let a Friend Pick for you. All right. Let's go into my database of clips, see what is marked contemporary, and see who's going to recommend me something. If you also want to recommend me something for the future, please reach out to me. I'm collecting clips where I'm then just saving them with the genre, and I randomly pick one. So I don't have to right now go and ask somebody to make a clip for me with a short turnaround, and I just have a bunch saved that I can go to. So if you feel like doing that, I would love that. I can always need more recommendations because I seem to pick this prompt quite often, and I love reading your recommendations or get punished if I don't. So yeah, please reach out to me. You can do whatever genre, so whatever color you want. You can do all of the colors. You can do multiple ones. I love getting clips to build up my library of recommendations that I can pick from. Wrong card. Let a friend pick for you. So I have 2 videos that are tagged contemporary. So let's just watch the first one, which is, I believe, Stephanie.
Hi Cece, thank you so much for allowing me to do this video for you and recommend you a book. I know that you said that we could be as mean as we want or selfish, but I am actually going to be very, very nice and recommend you a book that I talked about on one of your live sprints a little while ago. And the book that I am recommending to you is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a YA contemporary that is super, super, super hard hitting, and I just really want to know what you think about it. So that is my book recommendation. Good luck on your reading. Bye.
Okay, so Monday's Not Coming is right here, and I had put it on my August TBR. I got through to it in my August TBR game. So if I don't read it in August, I'm gonna have to do a punishment, but that also means I'm gonna put it on my TBR again in September. I still have over a week to complete my TBR though, so I might still get to it. If I do, let's watch the second video, and if I do, I'm gonna... and the second video, I think, is by Bianca. Let's watch that.
Hi Cece, thank you so much for asking me to recommend a book to you. And for this, I decided to be nice. I went off of your Goodreads TBR and found that you have not yet read Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This is a new adult contemporary and one of my favorite books, and I would love to see your opinion on it. So, happy reading and enjoy!
So, Fangirl, another book that I don't know how I feel about it anymore, and I don't know if I'm gonna love it, but I might, and I really need to get to it. So again, once again, for one prompt, we end up with 2 books for now. That will be decided later which one I'm actually going to be reading, so don't hate me. It's apparently how we play this game this month. All right. Green! To not get a penalty. And for this we have super hype for it. That is good. I love that. I love that. Super hype for it. An arc. So super hyped for it. That is quite easy. I feel like, well, it's not easy because I feel like I could pick almost all the arcs that I have because I'm super hyped for most of them. But I ended up picking Before We Were Blue. I've just had a really, really disappointing experience with an arc that is about eating disorder and mental health, and I was expecting a really, really good book that revolves around a disorder that I feel very familiar with and that I can relate to. It was a bad experience. It was a really bad experience. And if you're interested, check my Goodreads, because I didn't review it yet. I need some time to digest, but I commented it. So I was very close to DNFing, but I felt like I need to get through this and need to criticize what needs to be criticized, because it felt important to me to give my opinion, because it just felt important, because some of the representation felt harmful to me or felt like there was a lot wrong. And when I looked up that the author was actually a skinny person writing as an obese person, it made a lot of sense, and I felt that needs to be criticized because she didn't do her research well. Not at all. I'm okay if she wrote it without having that experience, if she did her research well, but she didn't. So I commented on Goodreads, like you know, all these updates. So you can look at that and have a lot of fun with my comments. At the same time, I am hoping to now get to a book that is good. I really want a good book that represents an eating disorder. And in this book, we're again, I think, in a therapy centrum or something where we have people with eating disorders go to heal. That sounds a little bit weird, but I think that's what it is. Get healthy on their own or stay sick together. At Recovery and Relief, a treatment center for girls with eating disorders, the first thing Shoshana Winnick does is attach herself to vibrant but troubled Rowan Parrish. Shoshana, a cheerleader on a hit reality TV show, was admitted for starving herself to ensure a growth spurt didn't ruin her infamous tumbling skills. Rowan, on the other hand, has known anorexia her entire life, thanks to her mother's chew and spit guidance. Through the drudgery and trauma of treatment life, Shoshana and Rowan develop a fierce intimacy, and for Rowan, a budding infatuation that neither girl expects. As Grey Girls, patients in the center's Grey Plan, Shoshana and Rowan are constantly under the nurse's watchful eyes. The dream of being blue, when they will enjoy more freedom, and the knowledge that their days at the center are numbered. But going home means separating and returning to all the challenges they left behind. The closer Shoshana and Rowan become, the more they cling to each other and their destructive patterns. Ultimately, the girls will have to choose the recovery or their relationship. I think that sounds super intriguing. I am super hyped for this, and please let this be good. I want a book with good eating disorder representation, even though I wish I had a good book that, like the other way around, a person potentially with atypical anorexia or something, struggling with obesity, because that's what I relate to. But I'm good with that. Like, it's okay. And I think that I can get through this very quickly. So even though my TBR this month is absolutely ridiculous, I think I can do most of it. At least the TBR game was kind of kind to me. It just looks bad because I picked 2 for a lot, right? So, all right, this is it for today. I'm actually quite happy with my TBR. It's going to be a challenging month, but I'm actually quite happy with it. There's some amazing books that I'm really looking forward to, so let me know if you have already read any of the books that I picked for my TBR game or that you can see here. If you liked any of them, if you think that one of them will be really, I will love it or I won't, tell me all about the books that you see, because I love hearing your opinion on them. If you have cool new ideas for prompts, please share them with me, because I love getting new prompts, and Adi does such a fabulous job at creating such beautiful cards that I'm so in love with. So yeah, and until then, I hope to see you on my channel again real soon. Until then, bye.
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I